Bitcoin and Ethereum, key levels and market moves ahead of the monthly close. Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. Glad to be back after the weekend. Hope you had a great weekend. And now we're eyeing up price action on Bitcoin, ETH, and the rest of the market as we head into the monthly close. We are going to climb into this thing, but before we do, if you like the content, please do me a favor, smash all the buttons, right? Especially you want to be sure and hit that subscribe button up above here on, especially if you're watching on YouTube, hit that little bell, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the live streams as they go. And please share, comment, and share these posts so you can help me grow this channel. I really, really do appreciate it. Of course, if you're interested in any of the tools I use, like fire charts and trend precognition or MTF mean reversion, be sure and click the link in the description so you can get there. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and climb into what's going on. Of course, we had a big day on Friday, right? Fed Chair Powell speaking from Jackson Hole, as I like to say, Jay Powell from J Hole. And markets really received his comments very, very well with open arms and rapid clicks of the buy button. Actually, a huge day of volume really across markets. And I think that, you know, the question now is whether or not we're going to see that continue. So let's go ahead and share some charts and see if we can take a look at what has transpired and what could possibly transpire as we head into the monthly close. For that, I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start on the candle chart here today and look at the Bitcoin chart first. We're also going to look at ETH charts. So in this analysis, we're going to analyze Bitcoin and ETH as we approach the monthly close. So starting here on the Bitcoin daily chart, you know, we had these death crosses. I showed those to you last week. We had a bunch of them here on the daily time frame, really all happening within this zone. And on the news on Friday, we got really just a big monster green candle. That was about a 6% candle that reclaimed the 50-day, the 200-day, and the 100-day moving average in one shot. That was impressive for sure. Of course, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? And so we spent the weekend kind of hovering around this level, and actually another moving average, very important one, I might add, is the 21-week moving average. And we hovered around this level throughout the weekend, right? Even got the close above. And so we did get a nice green weekly close as we head into the monthly, and that is, of course, what our eyes are going to be on. At the moment, you can see we've lost the 21 week, and we're now fighting to hold the 200-day moving average. So this gives us clues as to, you know, whether things are going to hold up or break down. And of course, if we do lose this 200-day moving average, that would obviously suggest or indicate that price is likely to fall back into the range. And I think there's a good reason to anticipate that. I'll get to that in a moment, but I want to illustrate some of the volume that we saw on Friday. And nothing does that quite as clearly and simply as ETF flows. Bitcoin ETFs have been enjoying a pretty nice run here. Last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive trading days, all net positive inflows for Bitcoin ETFs with a big day, big day on Friday coming off of Fed Chair Powell's news. Now, we also saw big inflows in really across the board in the market, but Solana obviously did well. ETH, on the other hand, if we look at the ETH chart, I'm trying to look at the ETH chart. Here we go. The same period of time that Bitcoin had net positive inflows, we're net negative. Even on Friday, when the rest of the market got that pop, there was very little interest in an Ethereum ETF, and what little interest there was offset by outflows from Grayscale. Surprise, surprise. At some point, these have to end, right? You would think, you would hope. Nonetheless, this may be telling us more about ETH than, well, actually, probably a lot of us already knew that, but this does speak volumes about ETH, especially relative to Bitcoin. So now back to the charts, right? So the Bitcoin chart, we saw this big move, and now we're wondering what's going to happen here as we head into the monthly close. Meanwhile, ETH did not fare as well coming off of let's go to the daily. Coming off of the news, right? It did reclaim the 21-day moving average, which is a positive thing, but we didn't get into the other moving averages. They're quite a bit away. And we've run into resistance at the 50-week moving average for now 4 consecutive weeks. So there's some good news and bad news in this chart, in my opinion. The best part I see here is that we did see this bounce come from the 0.5 fib and the 50-month moving average. Those are positive things. This wick right here, this goes down to that August 5th meltdown the market had when that Japanese carry trade unwound, right? We had a big wick here on ETH. We had a big wick on Bitcoin. And so the question for all of these assets is this the bottom? Is this indeed the bottom? Or are we going to continue to grind down, maybe test this, potentially even go lower before it's all said and done? So back to ETH, you can see this. This is the ETH USD pair. And so what needs to happen on this side is ETH needs to reclaim, well, ultimately you want to see it reclaim this trend line here, right, on the monthly. But let's take it in baby steps. First step, we've got to see ETH reclaim this 50-week moving average. And then we can talk about going higher. You see the 21-week moving average is angling down towards the trend line. This may all come into play here within the next couple of weeks. I want to now look at ETH BTC because this is a little bit different. Actually, it's a lot different. This coin pair did not fare so well. Actually, on the bump on Friday, when the rest of the market was soaring, let's see, Friday was a red candle for ETH BTC. And this chart, well, this chart looks pretty rough, to be honest with you. And so it also, of course, lost the trend line a long time ago here. And I'm wondering now if this is indeed the bottom. This is, again, our August 5th, that wick from the carry trade. Does this mark the bottom? And there's fundamental reasons why that could be the bottom, right? The markets like the bounce. Some of the other assets I've shown you, Bitcoin and ETH USD have bounced from notable places. And so those are things that we need to consider. Hey, Crackdown, good to have you here. He's saying that the main problem with ETH is it has liquidity split into several L2s. Perhaps that is a problem. Hey, Simmons, good to have you here as well. And for anybody who's not aware, if you're watching on YouTube especially, the live comments are open if you want to chime in. Glad to have you and engage with you there. So back to the chart here. Is this wick it? And we can make a compelling argument for why it could be it, right? Because ETH has hit lows that it has not seen since back in 2021 on this pair, and the market has essentially, at a macro view, markets have bounced from this August 5th event, both in TradFi and in crypto. Now, something else I want to show you here is if we look at the monthly, there are some more clues we might gather from this. And this gives a nice snapshot of the trend line here, which you can see was broken. But notice what happens when we have, and keep in mind now that this candle is not closed yet, right? A lot can happen. This candle could go green. For this candle to go green for the monthly close, it would have to close above 0.05, right? Above that 50 mark. And that means you basically need to close north of the 100-month moving average. It's certainly not impossible in this game. It's the Wild West of crypto. Not sure it's a high probability move, but certainly not impossible. But if we look at some history here, going back to 2016 into actually the end of the year, 3 red consecutive monthly candles, brief consolidation and up here on the monthly. And that was a big up. So let's look for additional areas of 3 consecutive red monthly candles, bottomed out, and then up. 1, 2, 3. That's more than 3. 1, 2, 3. A little bit of consolidation here, actually an extended consolidation here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and then up. 1, 2, 3. This one was kind of flat here, right? This one did not do the same. This was coming off of the 2021 top. Okay. So this was from all-time high. Not from all-time high, but this was from the 2021 top. This, of course, was the all-time high back in 2017. This was from the 2021 top. And that one, yeah, it did bump up a little bit, but not much. It was really kind of flat before a breakdown. There was a recovery here for sure over a couple of months, but then things broke down again. 1, 2, 3. Consolidate. Didn't really pay off on that one. So now, this is not obviously not a foolproof thing. As you can see, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe this time will, maybe it won't. So looking to see what happens here after this closes. If it closes red, we'll certainly look to see if we get, a consolidation before the next move up, or if we just shoot up from there. What I am looking at though is what could potentially be a better place for a bounce. And to me, I'm looking at this level here around 0.036, which maybe looks a little clear on the weekly chart, where you can see we have a lot of confluence between market tops and market bottoms on weekly candles. So that's just an area to be in tune to. Not saying that we're going there, but sure would be a good place to bounce from. Sure would be in my opinion, a good solid place to launch the next leg up if this does not hold. So now I want to take it back to the Bitcoin chart. And we can look here and see if we have any movement in liquidity, and we do. This morning we saw some liquidity pull back a little bit. I probably need to refresh this because it's been open for a while. We saw a bit of a liquidity pullback here on the daily chart, where bids came down from 63.5. Let me boost the color a little bit. Bids came down from 63 down to the 62.5 range. We now see more support coming into the 62 and 61.5 range, which could hold things up. But this is why I say there's no straight lines, despite the activity that we had. And look, this one actually looks like it moved up from down here. So some moved down, some moved up. That means there's some decent sentiment for this range here at the moment. If we zoom out, we can see this support is strengthening here around 62. Where I have concern about a potential pullback here for Bitcoin is that we have a series of liquidations, or leveraged longs stacked from just above 59K into the 61.5 range. So this to me just looks like low-hanging fruit, like an easy clean to go liquidate those longs before the next move up. I also would not be opposed to seeing a retest of support before we really climb out of here. Again, the market liked the bounce here from this August 5th event. So maybe this is it. Maybe this holds. However, it would not be bad to test that before climbing out here. So a lot going on here in the charts. Obviously, the monthly close coming up in less than a week. And I think that this leaves plenty of room for volatility. Watching these key levels here, right? The 200-day moving average is an important one. The 21-week moving average is also a very, very important one. If we want to start going after these, going back after this all-time high, a couple things need to happen. One we've talked about a lot is reclaiming that 2021 top. Now, something interesting that shows up in the technicals here is this 2021 mid-cycle top, right? back here, which goes all the way back to where this red bar starts. Okay. This was considered by many to be really the top of the 2021 bull market. We, of course, had a breakdown and then a distribution rally that took us to a new all-time high. But a lot of technicians consider this to be the top. And so if we could get a close, if we could get a monthly close above that top, and we just poked our nose above it for a minute on Friday before falling back down. If we could break this, and you see this is kind of a little double toppy right here over 3 days, which is a tight period of time, but obviously we saw resistance. We've got strong resistance here at this just shy of 65K level. And so to see a monthly close above that level, let's look and see what the monthly close needs to be green. That's first of all. Green close last month was at 64.6. That level that I just told you, the mid-cycle top, is at 64, almost 64.9. And so, closing above that level gives us a green candle, and it gives us really, I think, a good foundation to move up into September in the fourth quarter. Maybe we consolidate a little bit more here before we go after these levels up here. Something else I want to share with you is this candle right here. The monthly candle, which again, we're early, right? It still has several days to go before it closes, and a lot could change. At the moment, it looks like a solid doji hammer forming on the monthly. And doji hammers typically, or often I should say, indicate a trend reversal. So after a series of lower highs and lower lows, a trend reversal would certainly be welcomed. Now, a lot could happen between now and the monthly close, namely a retest of support, and a retest of support and a close down here could negate this doji hammer. Now, in terms of where we went here on this 49.5, yes, it did take us through that brief consolidation period we had in the 50 to 52K range, but it did not come down to other technical levels of support. It did not come down to this 48 level, and it did not come down to the trend line. If we came down to the trend line, I'd be like, all right, boom, that's it. It's off to the races. I feel confident. But as always seems to be the case in crypto, the door is always open for more volatility. So those are the things that we need to be mindful of as we head into the monthly close. Speaking of volatility, where can it come from? Well, it comes from thin spots in the order book. And if we zoom out a bit, we can see that we do have some, obviously that we have some support right now in the 62K range, and maybe that will indeed hold. That would be fantastic. You can see it right here. Is this enough of a guardrail to hold us up? It's not huge. But is it enough to hold us up for the monthly close? And likewise, you see this 17, 18 million here at 65K. Is this enough to hold us down? So this is right where that mid-cycle 2021 mid-cycle top is. It's right where that 21-week moving average is. This is a really important area. Now, if this gives way, you see these darker areas. The dark areas are thinner liquidity. Price can move through those thin liquidity areas rather quickly, whereas liquidity dampens volatility. What you see up here can obviously slow things down. Now, that said, since last week, we're seeing a lot of liquidity movement. So those are things to be in tune to. When we see liquidity moving up, here's a little brief tutorial in order book analysis. When we see liquidity moving up on the ask side, boom, 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 price tends to follow that. Likewise, when we see liquidity moving down, like we see here, boom, 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 and like we saw this morning with this block moving down $500, price tends to follow. Now, can we move back up? That remains to be seen. This will absolutely help. You'll notice that Brown has not been super active here. The brown whales have not been super active, but they do like to buy and sell into blocks of liquidity to minimize slippage on those big mega whale orders. So as we nose into this, we might see them start to buying to try and break through. But again, I've got my eyes. I can't get this out of my head. Like, this is so close and so easy to go get. I'd love to see it happen. Now, that said, I'd still be careful about shorting, and you can see the market's not really shorting a ton from this range because there is concern. Shorts are from way higher, but there is concern that they're going to get liquidated and short squeezed, and I think that's probably a safe concern to have at this stage. There's a little bit forming here above 65, but not a ton. This to me looks like the low hanging fruit. So let me just take a quick look at my notes and see if there's anything else that I'm missing out. Oh, you know what I wanted to show you quickly was a um, ETH BTC chart to see what liquidity looks like over there. Come on, give it to me. So as you can see, we have support down here at the 42 level. What if we zoom out a bit? My connection is so slow today, as usual. Strong resistance. You know, this was that level I showed you. We got to get above that point, that 50 level, to put ETH BTC back on the bullish side of things. That would be what did we say? That's the boom right there. That's the 100-month moving average. Reclaiming that would be good moving into the monthly close. So you can see there's a lot of resistance trying to prevent that from happening at the moment. And to the downside, that 36 target I had, there's not really much sentiment for that at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, nothing changes sentiment like price movement, so things could erode further. But this doesn't look like ETH BTC going to be breaking out anytime soon. If it can get past the 45 level, there's a lot less friction between here and the and that 50 level. So one more look at Bitcoin on the way out, and actually let's look at ETH USDT and see where that support looks like. Not a lot of depth in this book. Oop, I'm overblasted. You can see again strong resistance overhead trying to push price down near support at 2,700. So we'll have to see how that looks in terms of what that relates to on the chart. Let's go back to the ETH USD. Oops. And give it one last look. Again, I do like that we bounced from here. I do like that we're currently above that 0.5 fit, that actually above the golden pocket altogether. But got a ways to go here. Support here at, here's the 21-day moving average. Support above that at 2,700. On the weekly, let's see if anything comes into play. No, not really. So kind of hovering up against resistance at the 50-week moving average. The critical move for ETH is to clear that 50-week MA on the ETH USDT pair, and to clear the 100-month MA on the ETH BTC pair. All right, going to wrap it right there, guys. Hope that helps you out. If you like the feed, if you like the content, do me a favor, smash all the buttons. If you're interested in the products, head over to materialindicators.com. I'll have a link to it and everything else I do in the description. Thanks again for following. Hope you guys have a great week. We're going to be watching for volatility here as we head towards the monthly close. Make it a great day.